Hello, wonderful people. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you guys. I hope you are all doing great. Happy to be back. For those of you who are watching me for the first time, my name is Akua. I'm a U.S. immigration attorney. Today we're going to be talking about, what are the latest happenings in U.S. immigration law. This is going to be a very quick live video. I have some meetings, so we will be done very shortly. So join us. So the latest is that now US is no longer requiring um, negative COVID tests before you enter into the US. So there was a court order. No, I'm sorry. Not that's a different situation. Okay. So what's currently happening is that CDC announced that they are no longer requiring air passengers who are traveling from a foreign country into the US to have a negative COVID-19 viral test or documentation of recovery from their COVID-19 sickness before they're allowed to board a US flight. Okay, so that's wonderful news. This was effective from June 12th, 2022, as of 12:01 a.m. ET. That was the time zone. So I believe this was about a week ago. So that's great news because before you could come into the US, if once you got to a US port of entry, let's say at an airport, you needed to have, well, even before you arrived in a US airport, so from your country, says let's say you're coming from Nigeria or Ghana, before you are allowed to board any flight to the United States, let's say from Kotoka Airport, you would need to show that you had done a COVID test 24 hours before your period of departure, and the COVID test, said that you were negative, or you had documentation of recovering from COVID-19. So that was an either or. But mostly, more people needed to have the COVID test done, and then they needed to have the test showing that they were negative before they would be allowed to board the flight. Now that's no longer required because this was quite an expensive venture. So thankfully, CDC says that's no more. This was from June 12, 01 a.m. EST. So moving on, they are not going to require that anymore. So you can just come into the US with um, your regular documentation without the COVID-19, proof of a negative COVID-19 test. Okay, so that's wonderful news, making air travel a little bit more enjoyable and less stressful, because this really added to a lot of stress because you needed to make sure you had to reach the COVID-19 testing center on time and then do the test and then get the results all within 24 hours, and make sure that by the time you are boarding, it's not 25 hours and then they're like, okay, your test is invalid. All of that, it was extremely stressful because international airports, sometimes some people don't live close to international airports, and international airports can be, especially in some developing countries, can just be one international airport for the entire country. Like Ghana, we have just one international airport for the entire country, Kotoka International Airport. So if you're coming from the northern part of Ghana, you had to make all these arrangements, or the central part, and very, very stressful for people. So I'm very happy that this has been waived by CDC. They realize that it's no longer serving any, health purpose. So they're going to continue to reassess the situation, and then I believe they will make if they believe that they need to reinstate this law, the COVID test law, then they will. I mean, the regulation, it's not really a law, it's just a regulation. Okay, now let's move on to the next thing. NVC, National Visa Center. So NVC is pretty much the bridge between USCIS and the US embassies worldwide. So if you file a petition for your family member, you file it to USCIS first of all to establish a relationship. And then once it's approved, you don't get any immigration benefits. Of course, the first part also, you establish a relationship and then your immigration status as the petitioner. Once it's approved, it's forwarded to the National Visa Center. And the National Visa Center will prepare your documentation and the fee, whatever. Just just help you with the document, putting everything together. Once that is done, they forward everything to the U.S. embassy in your country where the beneficiary of the application is based. Okay, so let's say you're filing for your mother and you're a U.S. citizen. So you file the first part to USCIS, they approve it. Yes, that's her mother. Yes, she's a U.S. citizen and can file for her mother. It's sent to National Visa Center. National Visa Center will tell your mom, okay, submit all your documents, upload your your medical records, pay fees, all those things, affidavit of support or whatnot. Once that is done, then NVC will now, once your priority date is current. Well, for a U.S. citizen, they have immediate relatives. Priority dates are always current, but for any other category under the preference immigrant category, once the priority date on your receipt notice is current, then the National Visa Center can, of course, then forward it to the U.S. Embassy, and then they'll schedule you for an interview. Now, the National Visa Center, which houses a lot of these applications, they were inundated with a lot of work. There's a lot of backlog. I believe I've discussed this several times already, about 500 million cases. And currently, people were blowing up their phone lines with inquiries and everything. So the National Visa Center has now suspended the public inquiry telephone line. They suspended this May 23rd, 2022. I also did an update on this on our TikTok channel, The Green Card Lawyer, and we spoke about this. So now if you want to do an inquiry, if you want to inquire about the status of your approved immigration application or petition, you will need to visit nvc.state.gov, and then you look for detailed instructions about processing your case. If you're trying to ask questions about your immigrant visa, then you need to do nvc.state.gov/inquiry, and then you'll be able to get in touch with them. So long story short, now instead of calling the NVC, you need to submit a public inquiry form. Because if you call, I don't believe the number will even go through, and there's just nobody to answer your calls. They're trying to get work through the backlog. So use the public inquiry form and then let them know what your issue is, and then they'll send you an update on that issue once they've reviewed your case. And make sure you don't submit multiple inquiries, because that's one of the challenges they're having. Multiple inquiries on a single topic. So somebody has filed for her mother. They keep sending 10 messages to NVC. Where is my mother's application? How come I haven't heard from you? There's been a delay a year ago. All this in multiple inquiries. I'm following up on my mother's case. Can you help me? My mother needs to come. Can you help me? I'm sick and my mom needs to come help me, cook for me. All of that. If you submit multiple inquiries, it just clogs the system and delays the ability to respond. So each person, each case, as much as possible, limit it to one inquiry. I know how frustrating it is waiting on them to, for there to be some sort of movement on your case, but that's the only way we can help them. Let's limit the number of inquiries we're making. If it's on a single topic, just send one inquiry and then they'll get to you. The lines have been blocked. So now the public inquiry form is one of the ways you can communicate to them what your questions are on your immigration application. Well, guys, so I haven't been online. I haven't done a YouTube live video in a while, so I said I needed to pass by and then drop some information on what's happening in U.S. immigration. So I don't know if you can see, but we moved to a new location. New location, same excellent legal services. Follow our social media pages and you'll learn more. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Just hit that button and put your notification bell on so that you can be the first to know when we put up a live video. I hope you guys are having a fabulous day and week so far. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and be safe. Bye.